I'm Starborn. Remember, to be a star, you have to shine your own light, follow your own path, and not be afraid of the darkness, because that's when stars shine brightest. In fact, we're talking about a lot of light in the sky because the title of tonight's show, if you've been looking at my website, starborninstitute.org, the title is Drowning in Debt. And that is because on Monday we had a new moon at 21 degrees of Scorpio. And 21 is a Jupiter number, so you wouldn't think that drowning in debt was such a hot idea. Well, it isn't. But actually, Scorpio also rules justice and survival. And so this is a time when maybe we'll get lucky and be able to survive the tremendous debt that the whole world is under right now. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you're in trouble, but you could be involved with an institution or an employer or associated with a government that is deeply in debt. And so that can present quite a problem. And it's such a problem because throughout the month we have had a harsh opposition of malefic planets in the fixed financial signs. And Scorpio is a fixed financial sign, and it rules credit, debt, taxes, loans, insurance, inheritance, grants, and money coming in from any other source. It also rules things like taxes that you have to pay out. And so it was a really powerful new moon on Monday. And that is because there were 3 planets in Scorpio. The sun and the new moon were at 21 degrees, and Mars, the ruler of the sign, was at 22 degrees. And so these planets were all tightly conjuncting each other, which would triple their power. They're the only 3 planets in Scorpio right now because one planet that had been there for a couple of weeks has moved on. Mercury has moved into Sagittarius now. And those 3 planets in Scorpio are all being beautifully trined by Saturn in Pisces, which is now direct, so it's a little stronger, and also by Neptune, the ruler of Pisces, which is at 25 degrees today. So it's close. It was closely trining the sun, the new moon, and Mars in Scorpio on the day of the new moon on Monday. These 3 planets in Scorpio, with so much backup from Pisces, were all opposing 2 other planets in Taurus, the other fixed financial sign. And so they were opposing Jupiter, which is retrograde in Taurus, and a malefic planet, Uranus, which was also retrograde in Taurus. The problem is that Uranus is at 21 degrees. It is exactly opposing the sun, or it was on Monday, the sun and the new moon in Scorpio also at 21 degrees, and Mars at 22 degrees. And so these 5 planets in the fixed financial signs are really running up against each other right now. And that is why I think that the world can be drowning in debt. However, since Scorpio does rule survival, there are many people that can survive that if they're real careful with their money. But at this time, that new moon almost represents a lethal blow to the world economy. And so even if it isn't happening to you or me, it's sort of out there and happening in combination in different ways. And that can affect the whole world economy right now, which is drowning in debt. And so the pressure is on right now. And it is on because Taurus is a fixed financial sign, and it is enjoying a trine from one other planet, and that is Pluto in Capricorn. There aren't any planets in Virgo. And so the grand trine that has existed for a long time in the earth signs doesn't exist anymore, but still Jupiter and Uranus do have the backup of Pluto in Capricorn. It won't last too much longer because Pluto is nearing the end of Capricorn and moving on out and going into Aquarius by the start of the year, New Year. And so what we've got is we've got a real battle royal going on between some people who just want money and more of it, because Taurus rules investments. And it rules the money that you make on your job and how you spend it and invest it. And it also rules, since Venus is the ruler of Taurus, it rules high price real estate and property and expensive, luxurious things. Because a Taurus works hard for their money. And if they want to put it into something of high quality, then why not? But right now, because the whole world economy is drowning in debt, it can have an effect on investments. So that might not be too good. And then the sign of Scorpio, Scorpio likes to make money too, but Scorpio is a water sign. And all the water signs rule healing. And they rule it in different ways. And Scorpio rules medicine. And that is because one of its rulers, Mars, rules sharp instruments. And so Scorpio in particular rules surgery. And so the idea that a Scorpio has of how to, get out of things or get out of debt is to sort of cut their way out of it, or to cut the problem and get rid of it that way. Which is what a surgeon does. I mean, if you had a cancer tumor, you'd be real happy with the surgeon that could cut that out and save your life. And so that's why Scorpio also rules survival. But Scorpio rules, actually every sign has a lot to do with the sign that comes before it. It's associated with the things of the sign that comes before that. And in Scorpio's manner, it means that Scorpio rules the administration of justice and of the law, because the sign that comes before Scorpio is Libra, which rules the law. But you would say that Libra rules the lawyers that help make the law or uphold the law, but Scorpio rules the administration of the law and sort of the follow-through of it. Scorpio also rules the whole military. And so if there was some gigantic problem in the world that had to be fixed, and possibly people would have to go to war, that would be something that Scorpio would rule. And remember, this is a good new moon. It was at the 21st degree, which is a Jupiter number. And what was lighting the moon? What was lighting the sign of Scorpio? The ruler, Mars, very strong there, and the lights, the sun and the moon. So even if they were in a harsh opposition with two planets in the other fixed financial sign, they are by themselves well backed up by Saturn and Neptune in Pisces. And this affects the sign of Cancer as well, that doesn't have any planets in it, but it has an enormous amount of backup right now. And Cancer rules America and Canada and Ukraine. And since Scorpio is a water sign, and it rules the military, it in particular rules the Navy. And I do have some very good news for you that I'd like to share. I was going to wait till the end of the show, but I just think I'll tell you now. In one way or another, because of this new moon in Scorpio, which is a good new moon, the Navy is going to succeed beyond its expectations. Now the problem is, whose Navy is it? Could it be America's? Yes, because there's a lot of planets in the water signs right now. And America's ruled by Cancer. So is Canada. Maybe it could be the Canadian Navy. So is Ukraine. I haven't heard of them having a big navy, but they have boats. And it could be any other country that has a navy. The Navy, whoever it is that has that navy, they are going to be far more successful than they think. They're going to be successful beyond their expectations. That's one of the really good things that's coming out of this Scorpio new moon, even though it can be, because of this harsh and exact opposition between planets in the fixed financial signs. And remember, Uranus is a malefic planet, and so is Mars. And they're really, the Mars is better backed up, but still, that's tough on financial matters. And so there can be whole countries now, or organizations, or even government agencies, or institutions that have dug themselves into a debt hole. It's just a heavy debt, and it's a hole. And so who could these people be? I mean, even if it is, happening, who will it affect? And it's going to affect a lot of people. That's why the title of the show is Drowning in Debt. So it's going to affect people just like all of us that have credit card debt of some kind. And so it could involve the people that just owe high interest rates on their credit cards, or they could have high interest on their mortgages, or on their car loans, or students. Even if they're not facing high interest rates, they can be facing a big educational debt. And so they can be feeling like they're drowning in debt too. So it can affect people like that. But it can also affect people who have very innovative new ideas, and all they need is the funding for it. They can be very creative, but creativity doesn't get you too far without some money to back you up, and they can be a little short on that. And not because their ideas aren't good, it is because people who could do funding at other times perhaps have too much debt now. And, they can't pay everybody. And so budgets have to be cut back. So that's a group that has a lot of talent, but may not get enough funding to follow through on that talent right now. But things do change. And so, they should keep thinking about that. That is represented by people who are inventors or innovators, or just can really concentrate on the future a lot. And okay, they may not get the money now, but that's all ruled by Aquarius. And there are 2 eclipses in Libra next year, which is an air sign. And those eclipses are going to trine the sign of Aquarius and Gemini. That's going to be real good for them. So if you're in a situation where you are sort of overwhelmed by debt right now, you've got to try really hard to get out of it. And you could sell something, you could get a second job, you could talk about better terms or a different payment plan, something like that. And I think individuals could do that, but what do companies do when they're in debt? Or what do whole governments do when they're in debt? One thing that people aren't talking about as a remedy for getting out of debt is that, there is an old rule in the first economics class you take in college, Econ 101. The first thing you learn is that a country cannot have guns and butter. That's the old saying. You can't have guns and butter in your economy. That means that if you're going to war, your labor force is going to fight. They're not at home working. They're not doing their regular jobs. So, and that's what makes the butter. So it's an economic truth that you cannot have guns and butter. You can't have a robust economy that's away at war and not doing their jobs. That's a little thing that perhaps some leaders of the world have forgotten. The real basic truth. But either that or they never learned it. So anyway, that is why we're drowning in debt in one way or another. It's for various reasons, and it can affect people in different ways. Even if you didn't have any debt, maybe your employer does, or maybe your relatives do, or maybe there's a big change in an organization you belong to, and you have to adjust to that. So I'm sorry I'm going on so much about this, but I don't want to say it's the end of the world or anything. All I'm saying is that that's what the world is doing right now. It's sort of drowning in debt. So this is a time when crime really doesn't pay. And that is because Scorpio rules justice. And it's being tried by the planets in Pisces, and Pisces rules things that are hidden behind the scenes. It rules covert activities. But the lights and Mars in Scorpio are trining those planets in Pisces. We're going to learn a lot of secrets that are going to be coming out. And there are fewer retrograde planets right now. Remember, at one time there were 6 retrograde planets. Well, now there's only 3. Neptune is still retrograde, and so are Jupiter and Uranus. But because there are more planets going direct right now, it simply means the truth is going to be coming out. And we will have to face it. The one thing that this new moon does indicate, because it's at the 21st degree, and it's the lights that are on top of the ruler. You hardly ever have a new moon like that, where the ruler is being conjuncted by both lights. That's very unusual. And so, since Scorpio rules survival, I would say that even if you are faced with some problems that you think are pretty big, and you're overwhelmed by them, and it's wearing you out, this new moon is in the sign of survival. And maybe your budget won't quite survive. Maybe you'll have to change that. But the water signs rule our feelings. They rule our hearts. And so this is a time when love could conquer all, in one way or another. So don't give up on a dream. That sign of Pisces is being lit by this new moon and the lights. And Pisces rules dreams. Okay, what does this mean to all 12 of the sun signs? Well, Aries, for you it means that at last, Aries, there is one planet in a fire sign right now, and that's because Mercury moved out of Scorpio and now it is in Sagittarius, and it's trining your sign and the sign of Leo, which is good. There is some support in the fire signs now. And so since Mercury rules the mind and Sagittarius rules the higher mind, you may be thinking about going back to school, Aries. Well, that's not a bad idea. Maybe you would have a little bit more time to do that right now. Or maybe you feel that going back to school is a good way to update your skills and help you get a better job. I mean, I think you'd be right about that. So this is a very good time for you either to do that, or perhaps since Sagittarius also rules long-distance travel, you may be thinking about taking some sort of a trip or having company for the holidays that are from a foreign country that you would like to have around you at that time. That would be nice as well. If you are thinking of even getting any kind of training to prepare you to make a new start, I would say you're really on the right track, Aries, because you are going to make a new start this spring because there's going to be an eclipse in your sign. So maybe you're sort of getting on that right now, and that would be a good idea. There hasn't been a lot of support in the fire signs for a while. That's too bad. But there is now, and it's Mercury, the planet of the mind. So I think that since yours is a pretty speedy fire sign, Aries, you may be getting some pretty good ideas right about now, and you should act on them. You really should. Or at least go get more information about what you want to do. That would help you sort of reach your destination as well. So good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Taurus? Taurus. This is a time, Taurus, when you are facing some huge problems that are financial. And so you might be the rare person who has no debt. And that would be nice, but you would still be worried about your investments. And that is because the 3 planets in Scorpio, the sun and the new moon, which are the lights, and Mars, the ruler, a malefic planet, are all opposing your sun sign, Taurus, where you have Jupiter, which is retrograde, and Uranus, which is retrograde, and that Uranus is getting hit by all the planets in Scorpio. Exactly. And it's a malefic planet, and so is Mars. I mean, there will definitely, this is an understatement, there will definitely be a change in financial conditions. And that will affect you, Taurus. Now, Pluto in Capricorn is trining your sun, and that rules people in upper management, in large corporations, government agencies, or institutions. And so, fine. You could have friends in high places right now, Taurus, that could help you out in one way or another, unless they too are having to face some sort of debt. And it could be different kinds of debt. But if your investments sort of take a dive, Taurus, you would be wise to do something about that quickly. And the reason is that you can't forget that Jupiter is in your sign. And yes, it's retrograde, but it is a great planet. And the new moon was at a Jupiter number, the 21st degree. And so there may be an advantage, even if you say, oh, this isn't the right time for me to sell my investments. Well, maybe it is. You don't want to lose money on them. And maybe that will just give you a better opportunity later on to make better investments. You don't want to go down with the ship, Taurus. Don't do that. So this would be a good time for you to be a little bit more what they call liquid. In other words, pay off your bills. And if you have to sell something, fine, because it would be better to have no debt and have some extra cash around for when the tide turns and you want to make a new investment. But I would say this is not the time to make a big investment, Taurus. This is the time to hold on to what you've got, or redo your budget in a way that doesn't have as high costs to it as it may have now. Because even if you can pay the high costs, this is a time when all of us should be reducing our costs. And so I hope you do that, Taurus, because I think that you will be faced with some sort of financial dilemma, and that even if you have friends in high places, they may not be as much help to you as they would be normally. Maybe they could be some help, but not as much as you could normally depend on. So you'll have to be a little bit more astute, and you have to get a little bit hard-headed about your own money right now, Taurus, and hang on to it if you can. Okay, what does it mean to a Gemini? Gemini. Well, Gemini, this is a time when things can have a little softer effect on you. And that is because Venus is in Libra, and it's trining your sun and the Aquarian sun. And Venus rules Libra. So it's very strong there, okay? So it's not mad at anybody, and it rules partnership. And so Gemini, you could find new partners now if you wanted to. And Geminis are very good communicators. And so they're sort of good at promoting things and setting things up and getting things underway and contacting different people and bringing them together. That's great. Communication is what you do well, and you do it very naturally, and in fact it's a gift. You're really good at it. And so with Venus in Libra trining your sun for a while, and 2 eclipses in Libra in 2024 that are also going to trine your sun, this is the time when you should sort of get up and do things that will help propel you toward a better future in 2024. They may not have to cost you any money, but I would say, Gemini, this is a very good time for you to make good contacts, or new contacts with people, or new friends. And if you were thinking of moving, this is a great time to do that. Cancer rules moving, and there's 5 planets in the water signs all trining the sign of Cancer, which is right ahead of your sun sign. So, Gemini, you may not, I hope you don't have a lot of debt, but if you do, there may be a way to work with it that could ease your troubles a little bit. Or maybe you could talk to somebody and get better terms, better payment terms. Or since your sign rules buying and selling, this would be a good time for you to do that, so that you could switch your assets around a little bit, maybe sell a few to pay down your debts. But then you also may want to find something better to invest in. I would say this is not a particularly good time to spend money. This is a much better time to keep your money if you can, and particularly pay down debt. But you may not have a lot of debt, Gemini, and this would be an awfully good time if you do need some help from a partner. This would be a very good time to find a partner, a good new partner. Because that's what Libra rules, and Venus is trining your sun. Maybe the good new partner is going to find you instead, Gemini. They will. So I don't think that you're going to be flat out affected by the world drowning in debt right now. But it might be because you are able to be more versatile and pick up new partners as well. So good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Cancer? Oh, Cancer, this is a great new moon for you. Congratulations. There are 5 planets in water signs, and they are all trining your sun, Cancer. Lucky you. Because Cancers are very sensitive. Cancer rules our emotions, and it rules our homes and our families, and you know, it rules sort of getting cozy for the holidays. That would be nice. It rules good home cooking, which you're probably good at, Cancer. So on Monday, the sun and the new moon were conjuncting Mars in Scorpio, which is the ruler, and they were all trining your sun. So there can be a financial matter that has to be settled more on the lines of what is fair, and you know, justice is justice, and you could be the beneficiary of that. It may not be that you are the one that is making the decision, but you are the one that could be affected by someone else's decision that could be somewhat in your favor, Cancer. Or if you were thinking of moving, you would be moving around and you would find new people that would be very congenial with you. They wouldn't be like you. The Cancers are somewhat passive and gentle and nurturing and a little bit shy. And these people would be more successful and determined and, you know, a little bit more forceful. But they tend to think like you do, Cancer. All the water signs think that fair is fair. And particularly Scorpio, they go for justice. And when their patience is done, they're going to make sure the justice is done as well. And that could benefit you, Cancer. You know, sometimes people just need a dire situation or have to be facing some sort of lethal threat, such as a financial lethal threat, which can be going on throughout the world now, before they sort of wake up and really say, wait a minute, this is not how I want to live. And then they decide. And somebody who's making that decision could benefit you, Cancer, and a dream of yours could still come true, particularly over the holidays, because Neptune in Pisces is trining all the Scorpio planets and your sun sign, and so is Saturn in Pisces, and Saturn is now direct. Something that either you had been waiting on, or something that you maybe had even given up on, could turn out in your favor. It might come at you sort of slowly, but it can be coming. And this is not the time for you to give up on a dream at all, Cancer. How often would you ever have 5 such strong planets trining your sun? That would almost never happen, but it's happening now. And this was a fantastic new moon for you. But it might be the kind of new moon that helps you clarify what's really important in your life and decide you want to do something about it. Or you could meet some other people that will help you do something about it. So you may be getting down to the nitty-gritty of how you really feel, Cancer. But no one can do that better than you, because your sign rules your emotions. So good luck. And if you had thought that a dream was completely out of your reach, I would say that's not true. It's not true. It still could come your way. But you may have to wake up and smell the coffee, and, you know, you might have to change a few of your ways, Cancer, but it would be for the best, and it would help you have a dream come true. And wouldn't that be the thing that would really make you happy? Well, happiness takes some work too, you know. But if happiness is at the end of the rainbow, why not do the work? So good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Leo? Well, Leo, the good news this week, Leo, it's not too much about the new moon, because there's 5 planets in the fixed financial signs and they all square your sun. So the good news is actually that Mercury is in Sagittarius, a fire sign, and it is now trining your sun. This gives you backup, Leo. Okay, it might be backup that is involving very intelligent people, or people from foreign countries, or a very nice trip you're going to take, or even some courses that you're thinking of taking in the new year. That would be great as well. And so all of that would be to your benefit, you may learn some things that are pretty complicated, but you may have some time right now, particularly since I think you're going to be facing financial challenges. You may just have some time to sit down and want to learn something new, or be stimulated by people who even have different opinions than yours, but they're intelligent and they're thoughtful. And that could sort of get you going in a new direction, Leo, which would be great, because the Sun, New Moon, and Mars were all squaring your sun sign, and Jupiter and Uranus are also squaring your sun sign. You could have the feeling that you are caught in the middle of other people who are drowning in debt. But if you have gambled on anything, you too could have taken on or bet on the wrong horse and be having to sort of pay out extra money right now. Now, so I think, Leo, that something's going to cost more than you want to pay. But there isn't an alternative. There isn't anything any cheaper around. And so, you have to live too. And so something is going to cost more than you want to pay. Or you're getting stuck having to pay something that you don't even feel you owe. But this is a time, the new moon is about justice. And it's about cutting out things that have been going wrong in our lives and getting rid of them so that we can be better people. And that's important. That's really what's behind the whole new moon. Because Scorpio rules medicine, particularly surgery. And if you had something in your life, Leo, that was like a cancerous tumor, you would want to have somebody cut that out, wouldn't you? Because once you're rid of that, you would have a whole new life ahead of you. So think of it that way. Even if you're having to make some sort of a sacrifice now and cut something out in order to have a better life, it's going to be worth it. Because I don't think that you've been too happy lately, Leo. And so when people are unhappy, they need to change. And if you feel that you're perfect and you don't need to change, then at least you need to change your surroundings. And also, possibly you could look within and ask yourself how you could be in control of a better life for yourself. And part of that is that there's too much money going out and not enough coming in. But I feel, Leo, that you probably could get your hands on some money, but it should be to pay down debt. Because the world is drowning in it right now. And in one way or another, you might be involved with that. Or you may have been a little too extravagant in your tastes, and the world economy has changed. You could say, well, you hadn't changed, but the world economy has. Remember, you can't have guns and butter. You can't be at war and have a good home economy. And the reason why is there's only one labor force. And they're either at war or they're at home doing their jobs. Not both. So, Leo, you have to sort of decide how you are going to navigate your life around some financial problems that you do need to address and solve. And that will be a little more costly to you than you're happy with, but it's got to be done. But it's got to be done so that you can sort of cut out some problems that you've been living with for a while and get beyond that and onto a new life, a better life. I mean, think of what's beyond your troubles, Leo. The sun is going to still shine. There's an eclipse in Aries, and you're going to benefit this spring from it because it's going to trine your sun. So there will be better days ahead. But you've got a load that you've got to lighten up with a little bit in order to make that new beginning. So just think about it. Okay, what does it mean to a Virgo? Virgo. Well, Virgo, there aren't any planets in your sign right now. And so you could be saying to yourself, gee, life is a little quiet. But that new moon in Scorpio, with the sun, the new moon, and Mars sextiling your sun, and Venus being even closer in Libra, also sextiling your sun, means that, Virgo, you can be sort of walking into better times. Now, you may not be walking with the same people that you used to be with, but you would be walking into better times. I'm pretty sure of that, because there's 4 planets right ahead of your sun sign, Venus in Libra, and then the sun and the moon and Mars all conjuncting each other in Scorpio. You almost can't help but be walking into better times. They would also be better financial times. And the planets in Taurus, which are in this fight with the planets in Scorpio, they're trining your sun, Virgo. The only thing that can be holding you back right now are what you might call mixed emotions, or thoughts that you have, or choices that you want to make that don't, you've been putting them off for so long, you think you can keep doing that, and you can't. You see, your own ruler, Mercury, is in Sagittarius squaring your sun. And Sagittarius rules higher education, and it rules the courts, and it rules long-distance travel. There's something involving all those things that you need to really face right now, Virgo, and it's probably a little, it's time to do something about matters that have to be solved. And also, it wouldn't hurt you to get to take some brush-up courses. That's always helpful to your job, It is. And then the confusing part can be in your private life, because Saturn and Neptune in Pisces are opposing your sun sign. And they've been doing that, and they're going to stay that way for the next couple of years. So I would say, Virgo, just go slowly in your personal relationships. There may be some that it's really time to end, but then there will be others coming. And I'm just going to suggest that you don't jump into them, but you could enjoy them, and just go slow. Okay, what does it mean to a Libra? Well, Libra, this is a time, Libra, when you can do no wrong, because you have Venus in your sign, and it's a wonderful planet, and it's the ruler of your sign. And right ahead of your sign are the sun and new moon and Mars in Scorpio, and they're being backed up by all the planets in Pisces. I would say, Libra, that you are a person who's in a pretty good position to benefit from some secret or something going on behind the scenes that you may not have known about before, but that you'll certainly find out about it now. And you will tend to benefit from it. It could be a financial matter where the details of it or the amount of the finances had been kept from you in one way or another. But, the information is going to come in now. And it should be a little better than you had been anticipating, Libra. So now remember that Scorpio rules debt, and it rules taxes. Ooh, they have to be paid too. But there can be some information that had been kept from you for a while, because Pisces rules things behind the scenes, and the planets there are trining the planets in Scorpio, where the new moon was, right ahead of your sun sign, and you have Venus in your sign. So I think that information that now comes out, because remember, there's only 3 retrograde planets now, not 6 the way there used to be. And so more information is coming out, and you will tend to benefit from that, Libra. And this will help you, I think, finally decide about creating or taking on new partners in 2024, when there are 2 eclipses in your sign. So yours is the only air sign that has a planet in it, but it's your ruler. So I think you're doing just fine. And if you do have some debt, I think you're going to find a way to get out of it, Libra. I don't mean by not paying it. What I mean is you may find some extra money around somewhere to pay a debt, which would be good. Okay, what does it mean to a Scorpio? Scorpio. Well, even though the show is called Drowning in Debt, it doesn't mean that you're drowning in debt, Scorpio. It means the world is, for sure. And so, Scorpio, this is one of the best new moons that you'll ever have in your life. And it's not just because the lights were there, the sun and the new moon, conjuncting your own ruler, Mars, which means there's a lot of light on you right now, Scorpio. A lot of people are looking at you. There are more people looking at you than you think, Scorpio. They're sort of looking you over, okay? That's fine, as long as you don't do anything too too impulsive, or you have, try to control your anger. Mars is an angry planet. Oh, you got to control that right now, Scorpio. Because Saturn and Neptune in Pisces are trining your sun. They're backing your sign up. Now this is good for two reasons. Mars is the ruler of your sign, and Neptune is the ruler of Pisces, and they're trining each other. The lights are conjuncting your sun and being trined by the planets in Pisces, and one of them is Saturn, which is now direct. It's a malefic planet too, just like your ruler Mars is. And your co-ruler Pluto is right in between. So Pluto is sextiling your sun and the new moon on Monday when it did that, and it's sextiling the two planets in Pisces. That covers quite a lot of ground in a person's chart. And it's all supportive of the signs where these planets are. It's supportive of the sign of Scorpio, and of the sign of Pisces, and of the sign of Capricorn. That's 6 planets that are all helping each other out. And you are the beneficiary of that, Scorpio. So if you are facing some debt problem, you are going to be able to resolve it. You will survive. The problem is that the 3 planets in your sign are being opposed by 2 planets in Taurus, and Taurus rules high-priced real estate, and it rules investments of all kinds. Taurus rules the New York Stock Exchange, for instance. And so that's where the trouble may be. And it come about from sudden fluctuations. The value of investments going up and down suddenly. And a Scorpio doesn't like that. Scorpio likes things steady. So even in the medical field, which is what your sign rules, Scorpio, the money's going to change. And so, this is not a good time for you to make a lot of investments. This is the time, if you've gambled on anything, to sort of pay off your gamble or sell your gamble, because it won't get any better. And just sort of try to recover from your losses. And, nobody wins everything. We all lose in one way or another. That's why life is sort of a balance. That's why there's day and night, and there's warm and cold. I mean, there's a little bit in the world to please everybody, but there isn't anyone in the world that can have it all. And that's because we benefit from joining with others that are different than us, because they complement us in some way. They don't all complement us, but when you can find people that share your values, your basic values, and possibly your attitude about money management, because Scorpios are very good money managers, and it pays to know another one. That wouldn't hurt you. So, Scorpio, this is a very good new moon for you, as long as you sort of keep a lid on any anger that you have, and just realize no matter what you think inside, don't let it show on the outside. Just keep a smile on your face. You have Venus in Libra right behind your sun sign. In the background of your life somewhere, there is love, Scorpio, or a real good partner. And I don't know if they're in your life or just in the background of your life, but they're there. And, we have to find a balance in life. That means that nobody's perfect, including you, but nobody else is either, so you don't have to worry about that. Just follow your heart and do what is just. And wherever you're going, Scorpio, make sure that you are being seen at your best. Because right now, Scorpio, you are far stronger than people realize. But I would say one of the positive things that you have going for you is your strength, but you don't necessarily have to show it. In fact, using restraint and doing your best right now is just going to help you more and more in the future. And even if you don't see some reward for that right now, it could be coming, because this was a great new moon for you. And by this time, throughout the year, by this time, there are many, many people that can be on the road to recovery. But these people would have learned their lessons the hard way this year. And that's why they're on the road to recovery. Because they can face the truth and they can go on. And that can be happening to you, Scorpio. So good luck. You have the lights embracing the ruler in your sign and backed up by another ruler and a strong planet, Saturn. Whatever you have to face, Scorpio, you're going to do just fine. You'll do just fine. But just be sure to be seen at your best. And you are so much stronger than other people would think that I would say one of your challenges is to be able to handle your power carefully. And always try to do what's best. No matter how you feel inside. You might want to really get somebody right now, because justice should be done. I have a feeling that you will administer justice. But at the same time, hold your head up and be dignified. That way you'll earn the love of those who are supporting you from behind. Okay, what does it mean to a Sagittarian? Sagittarius. Lucky you, Sagittarius, you have Mercury in your sign right now. It's the only planet in a fire sign. But yours is an intellectual sign, so that Mercury, which is the planet of the mind, is really going to get you going, Sagittarius. You could just be thinking about a lot of different things you'd like to do, particularly with the holidays and your birthday coming. It just simply means you could be planning a nice trip. And you should do that, Sagittarius. You should go on a nice trip. It wouldn't even have to be a long one. Just go on a trip. You'll love it. And on top of that, you might meet some pretty nice people. They would be very interesting to talk to. Sagittarians like to be stimulated by conversation or by listening to intelligent people because it's an intellectual sign ruled by Jupiter. And so that new moon in Scorpio, along with the Sun and Mars, was right behind your Sun sign. You may have a financial problem that you have to deal with right now, Sagittarius, and get it all cleared up. But you can do that. If you sell something, you could take care of any bills you've got and still have a little money left over for travel. And I think that would just do you a world of good. This is a time, as we end the year, when we can be on the road to recovery for all of us. I mean, we may have made some mistakes during the year. We're only human. We do that. But a lot of us can be on the road to recovery and willing to move on and start new things. And that is probably where you're at right now, Sagittarius. And that would be good. Because the solar eclipse, or the eclipse that's coming up in Aries in the spring, is going to trine your sun. And so this is a time when you should sort of get out your feelers and talk to a lot of different people and do some traveling. You need to be inspired, Sagittarius. And Mercury is the planet of the mind. Well, you've got to stimulate your fine mind right now. You may as well. It's the only planet in a fire sign, and that's your sign. So I would say you got to get on the ball, Sagittarius, and do some good thinking or talking or decide to travel. And more or less sort of wake up from a time that may have seen you be too stationary. And you may have been living sort of with your life in a rut, in a way. And time to get out of the rut, Sagittarius, and really get going. You can do it. Good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Capricorn? Capricorn. This is a time, Capricorn, when I think that you are going to be the beneficiary of some good financial news. And the reason why is that the Sun, the new moon, and Mars in Scorpio were all sextiling Scorpio's other ruler, Pluto, which is in your sign, Capricorn, and Saturn, which is your own ruler, because it rules Capricorn, and Neptune in Pisces are also sextiling that Pluto that's in your sign. You see, there's this cushion of planets between Scorpio, your sign, and Pisces, which are all helping each other. And that's 6 planets out of the 10. Just in Scorpio, Capricorn, and Pisces. And then you have Jupiter and Uranus trining your sun. Uranus is really taking a hit right now. It's volatile and unpredictable and rebellious. And I mean, the world may be drowning in debt, but I mean, this is a time when people really need to address that issue before it gets worse. And yet, Capricorn, I feel that may not include you too much. Because Capricorns are very practical, and they stick to what they know, and in that sense, they may be ambitious, because Capricorn rules people who rise to great power. I mean, it rules our careers, our 10th house of career. So, I mean, you could have been doing well in your career, but the way these planets are set up, cushioning your sign right now, Capricorn, you can be much more sure of either your own feelings or other people's feelings. You can sort of see the truth real clearly right now about others and about yourself, and also about your money, not just your career, but your financial situation. And I would say that even though the planets in the fixed financial signs are really at war with each other right now, they're not in war with your sign. The planets in Scorpio sextile your sign, as do the planets in Pisces, and the planets in Taurus trine your sign. You should be getting some good news, Capricorn. Or perhaps you've just made a good business deal. Or maybe you're handling your money in a way where you're getting more value for your money. That could be it. But whatever it is, I think it's pretty good financial news coming to you. Maybe after a lifetime of sort of learning how to handle your finances or how to keep your standards high. Maybe there's a nice reward coming to you for that. So congratulations. Okay, what does it mean to a Capricorn? Well, Capricorn, this is a time, Capricorn, Aquarius, I'm sorry. I'm on Aquarius right now. This is a time, Aquarius, when you are going to have to be real careful with what you do with your money. I would suggest you not spend that money on anything frivolous right now or extravagant, because I think you're going to need the money. Now, you may not be in debt, but it still can indicate with the new moon, the sun, the new moon, and Mars in Scorpio squaring your sun, and Jupiter and Uranus also squaring your sun, and Uranus is your own ruler, and it's the planet that's getting hit by all the planets in Scorpio. I would say that there's some financial matter in your life that you've got to clear up or change, Aquarius. And my feeling is that it's an old matter. It's a matter that is related to your past, Aquarius. So, it has nothing to do with your future. So what in the world are you hanging on to it for? And maybe you're not hanging on to it. Maybe it's trying to hang on to you. I don't know. But you have a wonderful opportunity to make a new partnership and to go forward in a much easier, more compatible way with somebody, because Venus in Libra is trining your sun. Okay? That's why, whatever is connected to your past that involves a financial matter that you have not cleared up yet, Aquarius, you really need to do it. You need to start thinking of new partners and going in a new direction. And by the way, Aquarius, you may as well be thinking a little bit more about love, because Venus is the planet of love, and it's trining your sun now. And that's going to be good for you. So even if you are in love with somebody, things could get better. And you never know. Because there's 2 more eclipses in Libra next year, and they're both going to trine your sun too. So I would pay attention to love a little bit more, Aquarius. And you are going to be faced with a financial problem that you have got to resolve. And you've run out of excuses, Aquarius. You just got to clear the books. Because unless you clear that, it won't close out of your life. And you need your life. You need to be free. for the good things and the love that's coming your way. You need to be free for that. So do what you have to. Scorpio rules justice. You know, I'd say goodbye to yesterday, Aquarius, because your future's looking a lot better now. Okay, what does it mean to a Pisces? Pisces. Pisces, this is a time when you benefit greatly from sort of standing still if you can. And the reason why is that the Sun, the new moon, and Mars in Scorpio were all trining Neptune, your own ruler, and Saturn in your sign, and Saturn is now direct. So it's two rulers trining each other, and two malefic planets trining each other, and the lights trining your Sun, Pisces. I don't think you can lose right now. And so Pisces have such gentle feelings that they can get their feelings hurt rather easily. And then they, you know, they sort of mope around and feel bad for a while. They even sort of enjoy feeling sorry for themselves at times. But you know, Pisces, when there's so many better things in the world, why would you waste your time on feeling sorry for yourself? Just realize that justice is going to be done, one way or the other, that there can be more money coming your way, Pisces, because Scorpio is a financial sign, and those planets are really backing up your sign, and in exchange, your sign is backing up the Scorpio planets, and the sign of Cancer as well. In other words, you may not have to do much to generate extra funds right now. Maybe you can live within your means, and you know, maybe your bills can, you're okay. You may not be in a lot of debt. But what you really need to do is you need to clear the cobwebs out of your mind that are full of doubt or full of the way things used to be. It's like, oh, throw all that away, Pisces, because you have such tremendous backup, and you have your own ruler in your sign. You've had it there for years, but it's getting real close to leaving. You know, it's at 25 degrees today only because it's retrograde. It had been at 28 degrees, and there's only 30 degrees in a sign. So, I mean, when Neptune turns around and goes direct, it's heading out. And so you don't have that much time left, Pisces, to make a dream come true, is what I'm saying. I mean, it's not exactly now or never, but it's getting real close. And you couldn't have stronger support or even feel stronger yourself. You know, Saturn has now gone direct in your sign, and it is called the taskmaster because it makes you work extra hard. But it's also called the planet of reward. You stand to have a wonderful reward in 2 or 3 years by the time Saturn leaves your sign. If you decide to get real serious about something and do it, there may be a few little things that you know you need to correct in your life. Believe me, this is the right time to do that. Because Saturn rules time, and that means you could be prolonging your life if you change it in a way that makes you stronger or healthier or happier. And if I were you, Pisces, I would really try to make a dream come true. You don't have too many more years left to be successful at that. And you really could be successful right now with all the backup you've got from the planets in Scorpio. This is a very good new moon for you, Pisces. Even if you have to sort of turn over a new leaf, or you get a little bit more strict with what you do with your life, it's really going to pay off. And so, since yours is a water sign, I want to end the program once again by reminding everybody that the Navy is going to succeed way beyond its expectations. Don't quite know whose Navy that is, but I know they're going to succeed way beyond what they thought they could do. So that's pretty great. And so I want to end on a hopeful note because that's what new moons represent. A new moon always represents a new beginning. So all of us can make a new beginning if we want to. And many people who are drowning in debt, including whole countries, are going to have to do that. You know, as I said last week, there's only two directions, up or down, and we need to go up. So I wish you the best of luck. All right, thanks for tuning in. Remember, if you subscribe to my show on my Karen Campbell YouTube channel, I'd be happy to send it to you every Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. And you can read the blog on my website, STARBORN.institute.org. And if it says that it's not a safe website, scroll down a little more and then it'll say, click on this, and it'll just open the website, it'll open the show, and it will open the blog. And so go right ahead and do that, and then I'll see you next week, right here. Thanks a lot. Bye.